Hello YouTube, what you see here is a Compaq ProLiant DL380 G2 rec server. Now this is the lid that I just pulled off during a previous recording where my voice failed. Anyway, let's get to the server itself. Here in the front we see six bays here. These are all Ultra 3 SCSI bays. We have 4 blanks. I'll put one right out for you. There we go. These blanks are here so they don't interrupt the airflow that's going through the enclosure and through the whole case itself. Because if you pull one out, these fans right here will just blow the air straight out of the case, which will just eliminate the airflow. It has to stay in the case, keep everything cool, and then it gets exhausted. So you can't really have any leaks. So these 4 blanks here, of course, are blanks, are not populated. Here are 2 bays that are populated. They're both 18.2 gig SCSI drives. This one is 15,000 RPM, this one is 10,000 RPM. I'll get this one out for you. Just to give you an idea of how big these enclosures really are. Look at that, that's mighty. Even compared to the server itself, it's like pretty big. Feels like solid steel, maybe aluminum, or aluminium as we call it here in Europe, because we're weird. No, Americans are weird. Anyway, so this is the 15,000 RPM drive. This is the original drive that came from the factory. This server dates back to around 2001, 2002-ish. So let's see if we can actually get the drive to go back in properly. That clicks into place. It is the 10,000 RPM drive. We'll just get it out for good measure. Wide Ultra 3 SCSI. Let's see, it says okay. Pretty much the same enclosure. These parts are still available actually, if you know where to look. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to bother with that. This might be a nice project to, get some file storage going to some vintage PCs. So I can keep those files separated and just put them on this thing. Not quite sure though. I might actually part it out and put it online for some money. I believe there are some parts in here that are actually pretty salvageable and actually pretty worth quite a bit of money. So that should all be very interesting. So let's just take a look at what else we got in here. This is just some regular writing, whatever. Here is the 3.5-inch floppy drive, and this is the CD-ROM drive. The CD-ROM drive is dead on this unit. I don't know why, but when you put a disk in, it will start blinking and everything, but it will never read the disk or boot off of it. Well, actually, I don't know if it reads disks. Actually, yes, I do. I tried to DOS boot floppy and tried to get to the CD-ROM drive, and it just said, read failed. So I don't know if it simply does not accept any CDRs or CDRWs, but I couldn't really get into the CD-ROM, so I guess it's dead. Couldn't install Windows on it either, or from it, I mean. So, let's just take a look at the server itself and then talk about all the software specifics. So here are all of the fans. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here, and 2 of them on the back. There are some acrylic sheets here. Don't know if you can see them very well. Let me just pull this one off here. Right underneath here. You know what? I'm actually going to put this on the floor so you can actually get a good idea of what's inside. There we go. Now we've got some light to work with. So these heat sinks here are covering the CPUs of this unit. We have 2 voltage modulators here, which means we have 2 CPUs, which is correct, of course. These are both Pentium 3S 1.13 GHz CPUs. So that's pretty much one of the fastest line of Pentium 3s they ever made, Pentium 3S. So 12-10 core, so the pretty late revision Pentium 3 CPUs. And they're pretty quick too. So, and here we have the power supplies. We have 2 of them, both original Compaq power supplies. Now, I don't know if these are actually original from the factory. I highly doubt that. But it would be cool. So that's pretty much what's on the left side and what's here on the inside. or in the middle, I must say. And here are the RAM modules. We have a 512, a 1 gig, another 512, and another 1 gig. It's a total of 3 gigabytes of SD RAM. Let me get one of these modules out for you. These are very, very interesting. This is a 1 gigabyte PC133 module, as you can see here. Kit of 2, it says. Interesting. But this is a 1 gigabyte module. It has two 512 megabyte modules pretty much joined together with some kind of stuff here. Pretty much looks like some kind of socket design. Actually just clamped together and they just work, apparently. Let me put it back in though. I personally think one of the 1 gigabyte modules is defective. Because when I booted it up for the first time, it said it had 2 gigs of RAM. So one of the 1 gig sticks is working, and 2 of the 512 sticks, or both of them, are working. But one of the 1 gig sticks is probably not. So, because when I took out the 512 megabyte modules, it only registered a gig. So, but yeah, I rearranged the stuff, so it might just be one defective slot. This would confirm that, but you know. Anywho. Here on the right hand side we have the expansion slots. The system has 3 PCIe expansion slots. The bottom one is 33 MHz and the upper two ones are 66 MHz. Let's see here, what's this? See how this works. Some kind of button stuff. I don't think this is a just pull it out and it's there. This seems to be, I just hear some crackling noises, so I'm just not going to bother anymore, but I think this is a fiber channel card. And there's some weird latch thing here going on. I don't know what's all this about, honestly. But yeah, this looks like a fiber channel card. I don't really use fiber channel, and it is copyright 1999, so I highly doubt it's modern to any content. But there's always a way of just pulling it out there and see what it's worth. I don't really use fiber channel. I don't have any equipment for it, so I really don't need that. So it's gonna go. There'll probably be someone out there that will be very happy to get that from me. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the inside and the outside, aside from the back that I haven't actually shown yet. So here are is the back side of the expansion slots. I'll have to find out how these things actually remove, but that shouldn't be too hard. So here we have the back I/O. We have a serial port, VGA, Ethernet, 2 USB 1.1 ports, another Ethernet set of PS2 ports, UID port right here. Actually, it sort of pushes in like a button or anything. Don't quite know what this is for though. I'm not an expert on servers yet, still learning. So here are of course the power supplies with the latch, so you can actually pull them out if you use enough force. And that's it. The rest is just a bunch of rack rails and whatever. There's nothing else really to show you right here. And this thing is heavy. So yeah. Of course some more screws for rack mounts. And just some indicator LEDs on the front here. For power, Ethernet, UID connection and whatever. And of course the power button. So yeah, the next logical step would be to power this thing on. I will do that, but I will also set up a remote desktop connection from my room, so I can actually screencast it from there. Because let's be honest, the server is going to be very loud. I'll add a clip just after this to show you how loud this really is. Okay, you want to hear what a rec server sounds like? What you hear now is just one of the fans, probably the power supply. Let's press this button and see what she does. There we go, full power. Nice. Okay, so this is a TeamViewer session into my ProLiant server. Now in a much quieter environment, I must say. It's a little bit later as well, and I've been dabbling with it a little bit to see if I could actually pull up some programs. So let's try to start CPU-Z here. Please note that the ProLiant server is now connected through Wi-Fi to my MacBook, which is, you know, it's a pain in the ass, but it works for now. I'm going to see if I can actually get that thing working a bit better. So here is the Intel Pentium 3S, 12 core. It's overclocking itself every now and then when it sees fit to almost 1.3 gigahertz. This one is running at 1.2. These are designed to run at 1.13 gigahertz, but you know, this might be a false readout anyway. See, as you can see, they're supposed to run 1133 megahertz, and it's definitely doing more than that because the bus speed is fluctuating a little bit. Why that is, I'm not quite sure. It's probably just a false readout. Anyway, so ProLiant DL380 G2, as you can see here, has a ServerWorks chipset. BIOS dates to 2004, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and ATI Rage XL graphics, which, you know, gets the job done, I'd say. So that should give you an idea of what these specifications truly are and how they are detected. Once again, the 2 gigabytes of RAM, where 3 is installed. I did change the full computer name to CPQ-Serve because it was called Administrator 1 because I installed it from the network. That's a really interesting story, though. You know, like I said, the CD-ROM drive is shot. It's broken beyond repair, apparently. And, you know, it had Server 2000 on it when I got it, but I couldn't log into Windows Server 2000 because I didn't have the credentials to the server itself. So I decided to completely wipe the hard drive, completely clean, and then try to install Windows Server 2003 on it. So I popped in a disk. Of course, nothing happened because I didn't know at the time that the CD-ROM drive wasn't working. And, yeah. So I figured I had to do a network install because I don't have any external drives either. So I salvaged an old PC that I had laying around in my girlfriend's place, and, you know, just installed Server 2003 on that, set up remote installation services on there. That's called, I believe, Windows Deployments Services these days. And, you know, I set up a Windows 2003 setup from there, and then I connected it through PXE boot from the boot ROM on the network interface card on the server, and it connected straight away through DHCP. It resolved that it had an installation source somewhere, and if I wanted to boot from it. And I said, yeah, sure. And then, of course, I could install, and this is the result of it. This beautifully running Microsoft Windows Server 2003 Standard Edition Service Pack 1. Still need to update to Service Pack 2 and beyond, and, you know, get all the Service Pack going on there. Then we should be good. I must admit, though, that Service Pack 1 runs noticeably faster than Service Pack 0, so the RTM did. So that's good. So as you can see here, it has 100 megabit Ethernet running currently. And this is the IP address that's assigned to it by the MacBook. So, yeah. You know, I couldn't really pull up any temperature data or fan control using SpeedFan. So that's out of the question. I can delete that. Let's delete shortcut here. And I cannot identify the disks using Crystal Disk Info, so I can't see how broken they are. I need to use specialized utilities for that, I think. There are plenty of those out there. I'll just have to see which ones fit on a floppy, and then I can use a floppy to actually do that. Because I can't use CDs. Oh, the joys. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this short, I guess, because there's not really much to show on this server. It's really basic install. I don't have any services installed for file sharing and whatnot. It's just a completely blank installation of Microsoft Windows Server 2003 Standard. So yeah, you know, let me just pull up Device Manager as the last thing I want to show here. And we're getting towards the end of this video then. So here's the device manager. Let's wait for it to load. There we go. Let's drag it to center. So we have our 2 network cards here. Here's the Rich XL PCI. Disk drives. They're both stuck in a logical volume because I can't use the drive standalone because this guy's controller is forced in RAID mode. So I have to use RAID. So they're both RAID 0 volumes, even though it's only 1 disk each. 2 separate volumes. So that's why I can't identify them using that kind of software. And it has the Compaq Smart Array 5i controller, and of course this is the fiber channel adapter. It's apparently Compaq StorageWorks fiber channel adapter. Okay, that's cool. It says it has sound, but this thing does not even have a sound chip on board. And uses a ServerWorks USB chipset as well. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna see if I can actually get Wi-Fi running on server 2003, and if I can, then things will get a hell of a lot easier if I have the server running up on the attic, and if I want to manage it from here, from my room, where it's nice and cool and quiet. But yeah, this pretty much concludes my video, which has been taking a long time, a lot of your time as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video somewhat. Leave a comment if you have one, and I thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.